Hey guys, before this video starts, I just wanted to let you know that I've done some slight changes to the spring and summer parts of this video due to the fact that they are pretty old in the grand timeline of my channel, and I don't want the bad editing and the bad pacing to get in the way of a good viewing experience. Here is a list of the things that I've changed. And here's a list of the stuff that I've left as is. I hope you enjoy. What's up, everybody? Wow, that's sounding kind of cringe. Oh well, I promise I'll fix up my intros in the future, alright? Now, you may be wondering which amazing, wonderful game I've chosen for my first video. And, well, if you can read and if you have eyes, then you probably saw the thumbnail and you know what game I'm playing. But then again, I know a lot of people who act like they can't read, so I'm just going to spoil it for you. I'm playing Stardew Valley. It's a pretty fun indie game. It's about farming and resource management and befriending random townspeople. I don't know. But it's a fun game that I enjoy. I've done a playthrough of it before on my own, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm just here recording my experience. This will probably not be a very insane type of playthrough with all sorts of optimizations and stuff, but it should be really fun. Now, without further ado, let's hop into it. You gotta love the beautiful attention to detail that these indie games have. Ooh, character creation time. Let's see. What should my name be? Should be something very expressive that shows my personality. Okay, fine. Alright, let's see. Let's look through some farms. You know, I'm just gonna go with the standard one. It's simple enough. Alright, now I need to come up with a farm name. This is very important and will carry on throughout my entire playthrough. I need to choose something that fits me really well and perfectly represent. Okay, that'll work, I guess. Alright, now time to choose my favorite thing. You gotta be kidding me. Oh well, let's see. This is the normal character. I don't really like him. He's too simple. Gotta really spice things up. Gotta show my wonderful originality. Something like this. I totally didn't just change the hair and shirt. I am much more creative than that. I swear I'm not lying to you guys. I promise. Please. Alright, and after that I just chose some pets, but I ended up just going with the basic dog. Nothing too crazy. Now, time for Grandpa's little cutscene. I honestly kind of wonder why you put your bed in the middle of the room, but I'm just not going to question it. And after a black screen of death, it is time to look at me. I'm a slave now, working for Jojako. Yeah, I do not want to be a little cubicle slave. Is that Woody right there? Also, what happened to the Terminated guy? Hey, there's me. Oh man, I look kind of depressed. Oh well. Anywho, let's look at this little letter that Grandpa gave me. It says that I have his old farm, which, like, Grandpa, don't hide those assets from me, man. I need to know what you're doing in your free time. And after thinking about my horrible life, I decide to move to Stardew Valley. And with that, I hop on the bus, and I'm off. And luckily, the town is only half a mile away from the city. Once I get off the bus, I meet up with Robin. Robin's pretty chill. She's the local lumberjack, and she offers to take me to my house, which I gladly accept. Once I get to the house, it's kind of a wreck, if I'm being completely honest. But Robin says that this is the best farm, and I gotta listen to her. After that, I meet up with the mayor, who's an old guy named Lewis. He's pretty normal, but he's also a little weird later on in the playthrough. Lewis introduces me to my house, and looks a little shabby, to say the least. Yeah, that's a better way to put it, Robin. After that, Lewis and Robin talk for a little while, and Lewis ends up going away with Robin, and I'm left to start off day one. After waking up and walking around for a little bit, I decide to grab the parsnip seeds that Lewis has just given me. Okay, I guess I live in the jungle now. I then started cleaning up the farm, because let's be honest, it definitely needs the help. The magic of editing, ooh boy. I then decided to run off to town, only making a quick stop at the bus to recontemplate whether or not I should go back home. I then ended up at Pierre's, where I first started meeting villagers. When I got back to the land, I decided to prepare it for some potatoes that I bought at Pierre's. Day 2 had a pretty fun surprise in store for me. It was a letter from the local fisherman Willie, telling me to head down to the beach before 5. I, of course, obliged. But only after watering my plants, of course. I then ran off to the beach to go meet up with Willie. After that, I got my starter fishing rod, the bamboo pole. Nothing else really happened on day 2. I just fished a little bit. Mama says not to talk to strangers? She's right, you know, Vincent. You better never go to my house once I have a basement installed. It was raining pretty hard on day 3, which is lucky, because that means I didn't need to water my crops. I soon checked my mail and saw that Pierre had some backpack upgrades which I desperately need in stock at his shop. Unfortunately, due to it being a Wednesday, Pierre's shop was closed, so I had to wait until later. In order to pass the time, since I had a ton of energy from all the crops that I didn't need to water that day, I decided to just dedicate the entire day to leveling up my fishing skill. That way it would be easier in the future. Day 4 started off with me wasting like half my energy bar on watering my crops. And after that, I decided to spend my time river fishing for the rest of the day for a nice little change of pace from the ocean. Once I got bored of river fishing for a while, I decided to head down to Pierre's to check out the backpack upgrade. Of course, I wasn't going to buy it because I had my tools being upgraded and getting an iridium rod as my bigger priorities for my money right now. And after that, I just went and visited Gunther and stopped by Clint's place just to look at all of the things that he had for sale, and also to look at how much the tool upgrades would put me in the hole. Also, a fun little side note here, my first level up of the series happened. It was fishing level 2, and not gonna lie, I think fishing might actually be the first skill that I max out. Day 5 had a pretty good surprise in store for me, and that being a brand new dog. And when I was asked to name it, there was only one option. Alright guys, I'm sorry, the energy limit just hit me. I'm sorry, I couldn't do it. If you know, you know, it's an amazing name. It's truly amazing, but I ended up just having to go with the first part of it. Again, I am so sorry that I couldn't do this name justice, but it is what it is. After that nice little encounter and getting a brand new pet, I was able to harvest my first crops of the entire playthrough. Today was the day the mines opened up for me. So after I did the opening sequence where I was able to get my first sword, I know, very special, I head down into mines and I basically just tried to get as far down as I could. I was able to make it all the way to level 5 of the mines until I eventually just decided to give up because I didn't want my energy getting too low. On day 6, I was greeted on my doorstep by Clint, and he gave me the furnace recipe, which is actually pretty handy because I need a lot of the things that the furnace gives me. I started off day 7 by running over to the community center and finally unlocking it after being scared out of my wits by a Junimo, twice actually. And then after that, I decided I had enough of the town, so I decided to go venture down into the mines before heading up and finally being able to get into the Adventurers Guild after having already been in the mines. And I just popped into the Adventurers Guild, kind of said hi, figured out what was up, and that was day 7, pretty much done. Day 8 started off pretty great with my potatoes having been grown. I was able to quickly harvest them for some nice quick cash, and then after that I headed off to the Wizard Tower. At the Wizard Tower, I was able to learn the very special language of the Junimos after drinking his honestly kind of gross and weird soup, but I'll look past it. After that, I got kind of bored of sitting around on my farm, so I ran over to the community center to go look at all the bundles that I had to fill up. Day 12 was a rainy day, which was good for me because that means that I don't need to water my plants. Then again, it isn't like I would have watered anything in the first place because they were all grown. I am so unbelievably happy about this because this was the first real amount of profit that I actually got during the run. So I quickly harvested up all of my crops in the rain, and then after doing a little bit of thinking about what I should do with all of my excess energy that I'm not really used to, I decided that making some progress in the mines would be really helpful because after all, I'm going to need the things later on in the floors at some point, especially the gold and iron for good sprinklers. So I was able to hit the mines and I was able to hit floor 10 before I kind of just like ran out of time and energy and stuff to keep going. But it was a pretty solid run, good introduction type of thing to the mines, and I feel like I'm equipped to do even more floors. Day 13 was a really good day for me because it was the day of the flower festival of the spring. And I was so excited about this that I literally just stood there right outside of the town entrance until it finally opened up. And then when it did open up, I made a beeline straight for the reason that I was actually so excited for this, which was Pierre's little stand. He was selling strawberry seeds, and strawberries are the most profitable spring crop. So I immediately picked up as many strawberries as I could. After that, I was also able to absolutely dominate all of the little children in the egg hunt, and I feel no shame in this. I am the best. Deal with it, kids. And after that, I was pretty tired, so I headed home, and it was really late when I got back. Unfortunately, I still needed to water these strawberry plants, so I ended up running around in the middle of the night trying to make sure that everything was properly watered. Day 15 started like literally all the others. Watering. Yay! Alright guys, I swear I'll shut up about watering after this, I promise. But anyway, after I was done watering, I ran over to the community center yet again. I also made a quick pit stop at Clint's on the way back, just to see if I could afford the resources to make a sprinkler once I got the recipe. Then I looked at his prices and I was like, nope, I'm gonna need a mine for those myself. So the mines are now a higher priority than they already were. They're still pretty low in the priority list though. I mean, even fishing goes before them. Salmonberry season was in full swing on day 16, so I immediately ran into the forest after I watered all my crops. And I picked up as many as I could. I ran by the wizard tower, I ran down by the place where you can get all your farm animals, I ran in places that I didn't even go there in my other playthrough. Like, I didn't know this part of the map existed with these forests. But after that, I just kind of ran back to my farm, and then I immediately ran back there actually, because I was like, oh, I can do some fishing there. And after I used up pretty much all my energy fishing there, I just called it a night. It was a nice simple day. Day 18 was a pretty rainy day, and against my better judgment, I decided to go fishing instead of going to the mines with all my spare energy. I mean, I guess it can be valid and justifiable when you think about the fact that I was trying to get rainfish. I started off day 19 by running off to the community center to see what I could do as far as the fish tank bundles. After that, I decided that it would probably be best to do some lake fishing, and I ran down to the lake right by the wizard's tower. What I didn't know was that the fish that I needed for that actually only appeared in the mountain lake which is right by where Linus and the mines are. So I kind of wasted my entire day. I got some decent fish though, and I made some decent profit though, so I'm not super upset, but it still kind of sucks that I wasted an entire day for something that I wasn't even gonna get done in the first place. Hey, so I was looking over the footage and I realized that I actually did realize my mistake and I did end up running up to the mountaintop lake. And I was actually luckily able to get the Neptune's Glaive, and it's a very powerful sword. I was incredibly lucky to get this. But yeah, so now I have an insanely overpowered sword for like the mines and stuff, which is pretty dope. On day 20, I decided to go run off to Pierre's to buy some parsnip seeds and things, just so I could complete the spring crops bundle. Unfortunately, I was under the assumption that the month was 31 days long and not 28 for some reason. I don't know where that error came up in my mind, but I thought I had a lot more time to do this than I did, so I didn't buy enough parsnip seeds to get the 5 golden parsnips required for the high quality crops bundle or whatever it's called. And I'm pretty bummed about that now because that means I probably won't be able to finish the community center until year 2. But as long as I optimize in the other 3 seasons, I should be able to get it done really early in year 2. But the thing that sucks is that now I won't have access to the greenhouse over winter, so good luck making any profit then. The first strawberry harvest was in order on day 21. I made a lot of profit, but I decided to not sell them right now, just so I could have a nice fat stack of cash when I sold all of my crops at the very end of the season. I think it'll be a really good boost to have a ton of coins when summer starts. Summer video coming out soon, by the way. And after that, I just went to go fishing. I also leveled up a bunch in the night, including reaching farming level 5, where I ended up choosing the perk that helps with crop profits. I did a whole lot of running around on day 22. I ran over to Willie's to check out the new fishing rod he had in stock, the Iridium rod, which was actually a pretty big goal of mine because I feel like it'll help me out a lot with getting fishing level 10. I also popped by Pierre's to buy some more seeds, and lastly, I visited the little bookshop just to see what was there. But after that, I pretty much just headed home and called it a night. It was a nice rainy day on day 23, and you know what that means? It's mines time. After I ran to the mines, I was able to make it all the way to floor 20 actually, where I decided to just kind of do a little bit of fishing because I needed the ghost fish for the community center. I ended up catching 2 stonefish and 2 ghost fish before I realized that I was getting really late and I decided to head home for the night. On day 24, I attended the flower dance after I watered all my crops. I didn't really get much done there though, because I haven't made any progress with befriending the villagers, and I've instead kind of kept to myself more and focused more on my personal things. So all I really did was just pop in, buy a rare crow, watch all the happy people dance, and just leave. I did do a little bit of foraging and clearing up on my farm though when I got back, because I didn't want to just waste all my energy for that day. Day 25, it was time for another strawberry harvest and another trip to the mines. This time, I was able to make it all the way to floor 30 before I realized that I had to run home. Otherwise, I was probably just going to pass out for the first time in the series. And I really don't want to pass out for as long as I can because I value having money and items in my inventory. Day 26, I decided to go run over to Clint's to upgrade my axe to copper. I don't know why I didn't do these upgrades sooner because they would have been really useful and I just had like 30 copper bars sitting in a chest. I'll fix it during summer though. After that, I popped into the local pub just to see what was going on. I got some drinks, talked to people, it was a good time. And then after that, I just ran home. On day 27, it finally dawned on me just how little time I had left in this season. That didn't stop me from trying to do a last-ditch effort to water my crops and hope that I could maybe get a little harvest out. But I guess no community center in year 1 for me. After all, I can't get the spring crops required until much later, unless they show up in the traveling cart, which I don't even know if that's possible. After that, though, I popped into Lewis's house to use the prize machine, which I guess that came in a recent update because I don't remember that being there when I last played Stardew Valley. But after that, I just ran to the mines and I was able to make it from floor 30 to floor 35. Nothing too crazy, but I did get my first iron drop from one of the little stone golem guys, and that was pretty cool. Day 28 was the last day of spring, and I decided to kind of just enjoy myself on this day. I took my little thumbnail photo among the crops because I need to prove that I'm an expert farmer who's actually able to grow things. And after that, I kind of just ran around town for a while trying to soak up all the fun spring vibes. I also visited Clint to see if I could see how my axe upgrade progress was going, but Clint works at a snail's pace, so it wasn't done yet. But after that, I kind of just sat there and took in all the peace. It was a nice playthrough, and I enjoyed it. And when I finally got home, I realized that I still hadn't sold all my crops from that season. So I put them all in the bin, and I decided that a good way to end off this episode would be to look at how much profit I had made from my strawberries and my spare parsnips that I had grown throughout the season. It turns out I made a lot, which is good. Stardew Valley may try to market itself as a fun, little relaxing farming sim, but believe me, as I've found out the hard way, it's obviously a very relaxing experience with no rage moments at all. But that won't stop me from playing it. Now, I hope you enjoy the summer episode of Stardew Valley, produced by Watts. Please like and subscribe. I really need likes and subscribers, please. I'm begging you. Day 1 started off amazingly with my OBS not picking up the footage of me talking to Demetrius. All you really need to know is that he came by and he was like, "Yo, do you want fruit bats or do you want mushrooms?" And I said fruit bats because fruit bats will give a lot more things that'll benefit the community center. I looked it up, and I want to say something like you can use 2 red mushrooms and 2 purple mushrooms, which you find really low down in the mines anyway, so it's like there's no really good point for it. But like compared to the fruit, where like the fruit has, I think it's in like 4 different little satchel things. It also gives you energy. Energy is very important in this game. I had to clear away all of the dead crops, which I'm very upset about. But, you know, we live past those moments. And then after that, I decided to use an absolutely genius big brain strategy that totally won't bite me in the butt later. I decided to put little acorns and other tree seeds where I wanted my sprinklers to go in the future, as just a way to kind of like mark the land. Don't ask me why I did this. I thought it was a good idea at the time. I didn't think about the fact that the trees would actually grow and take up a lot of energy to remove. As a person who has now completed the month and had to deal with those trees, I can confirm never do this in your own playthrough. But again, we move on. After that, I kind of just ran over to Pierre's, nothing special. Bought a ton of blueberries because blueberries are actually, I want to say by far, but there could be other close contenders, but they are the most profitable summer crop. And I want a lot of money because money makes the world go round in farming games. So I just got the blueberry seeds, watered them, and that was pretty much how the day ended. Pretty good day 1, if I do say so myself. Day 2 started off with a bang, as it was the first rain that I had received the entire season. Because of the rain, I decided to hit the mines, because I realized that being 1 season in and only being on floor 35 of the mines was kind of a bit not that great. I was able to make it all the way to floor 49 before I unfortunately passed out. Due to it just being late and stuff. I mean, nothing I can really do to help with that. I also dropped some dwarf scrolls while I was down there, which was really nice, and I got dwarf scroll 2 among those. Dwarf scroll 2 will definitely not have any issues in the future, and I totally won't go on hating this item. And that's just a bit of minor foreshadowing, though. But it was right then and there that I decided to kind of make the main goal for this season, which was to make it to floor 100 in the mines and try to get that nice juicy star drop, because I need energy, a lot of it, just for general things. So getting to floor 100 would be very useful. Day 3 started off pretty nicely with me just going to water all my crops, which is, kind of sucks. I lost a lot of my energy that way. Sprinklers are definitely going to be needed really, really soon, because I really hate having to waste half my energy every day on watering crops. But after that, I just ran over to Gunther's and donated the dwarf scrolls, not knowing how much pain they would cause me later on. And I also ran over to Clint's to do some geode cracking, of course. With any luck things, I suck, so therefore that meant I got absolutely zero loot from Clint's. After that, I kind of just went over to the mines, just did some things. I ended up dropping a coffee bean, which I see as an absolutely massive W, because now I can make coffee, which means I won't be moving at the speed of a slug anymore. Day 5 was another fairly normal mines day. It was raining, so I legit had nothing else to do, but luckily that meant I was able to go into the mines with a full bar of energy. If you can't tell, I'm really trying to speedrun to the gold levels so that I can get quality sprinklers, because the lowest tier sprinklers absolutely suck for how much you need to put in to craft them. So I'm just trying to go for the regular mid-tier sprinklers. I was able to drop a little monster compendium, which I think I've been playing too many RPGs recently, because I thought of it as like a little talisman that you kept in your inventory for the buff. I didn't realize they needed to read it, even though it was a book. I don't know, I'm an idiot. It took me like 10 days to figure that out. And I also dropped 2 Dwarf Scroll 2s. That brings my total to 3. You can start to understand why I hate this thing. Also, you can see in like the little intro of this video how like quickly in succession I dropped the 2. I voiced over that it was my 5th one, but that was a mistake. That I dropped 5 in total. Yeah. Day 7 was more of the monotonous mining grinding. I did have a fun little Smite the Little Dust Gremlins quest though, which I was able to complete fairly quickly because they literally spawn everywhere. And after that, I ran into town and I witnessed this amazing little Linus cutscene where he's like digging around in the trash, which, it's Linus, he's Linus. But so he was digging around in the trash, and George basically told me, well, George thought he was a raccoon. So George told me to go scare the raccoon away, and I was like, no, when I saw that it was just Linus. So I ended up helping Linus out, and then he was like, I'll never do it again. And then 5 seconds later, he was doing it again. This time, it was right by where the tavern was, and again, he got caught, but this time he got shown a little grace, and he was actually given a free meal. It was a very heartwarming cutscene that just showed how well the people in the valley care and look out for each other. Except for George. George just hates everybody. On day 8, I realized 2 really amazing things. A, my blueberry plants had finally started making more progress, and they actually looked like real plants now. B, I was really, really close to floor 80, which is where you can start getting gold. This means that pretty soon I'll actually have a working farm with working sprinklers. Pretty fun if you ask me. On day 9, it finally dawned on me that I was really, really, really close to being able to finish the Forge bundle, which meant that I would be able to unlock the minecarts pretty soon, which is really good because that saves a lot of time with transportation and stuff, because I can't craft like the little wood totem guys that let you just teleport everywhere. Other than that, I also had another pretty big achievement. I was able to make it to floor 80 of the mines, which meant that the next time I went in, I'd be able to start mining gold, which means sprinklers are literally gonna happen in like the next few days. Hey, this is me much later. I'm just like watching through the video one final time just for like a quality check, and I realized that I didn't talk about the nice little bone sword that I got. It's pretty dope. I like it a lot. It's much better than the Neptune's thing that I was luckily able to fish up. Yeah, that's about it. I walked home pretty happy that night, honestly. On day 10, I decided to go back to my early roots in the spring season, and I spent the entire day fishing. Overall, it was a pretty good day, you know. Had a lot of fun. Went to go visit Willie again. He's doing great. And I was able to catch a lot of fish, and I made a lot of progress towards the community center bundles, actually. And I decided that because I had made so much progress, that I was gonna just keep fishing for the next couple of days and try to knock out as much of the fish tank bundles as I could, because, you know, who doesn't love having the community center more completed? Day 11 was a pretty packed day that started off with me absolutely speedrunning the community center. I was able to finish the crab pot bundle, which is pretty nice because I legit didn't need to place down a single crab pot for it. I just used some random stuff I found on the beach, and also one of the crabs that was dropped from the little cave crab guys. This was able to unlock the little finance safe room thing, which I'm probably going to complete in the fall because having the bus and access to the desert is going to be really nice. But after that little brief stop at the community center, I ran down to the beach where the luau was happening. And after much debate, totally not just like looking at the only non-grayed out item in my inventory, I decided to throw in a random iridium quality fish that I'd saved from the day before for this event. After that, the governor tried it, and they really liked it. I unfortunately didn't absolutely amaze them, so I didn't get the achievement, which is a womp womp, because I'm gonna hopefully try to 100% this game by the end of this playthrough, which means that I need the achievement for absolutely wowing them during the luau, which sucks, but like at least it wasn't horrible, you know? The first trees in my little field grew on day 12, which was kind of bad, because that was when it dawned on me how bad of an idea it was to plant random trees in my little place. I also ended up getting my first sprinklers on this day, which was really fun, and it just, you know, it was enjoyable in general, because I had gold and stuff now. But after that, I just kind of ran into town, visited the bookseller, realized how broke I was, then ran back to my farm, and I made some sprinklers. Yeah, let's go. Finally, I don't need to break my back watering like a few of my crops anymore. I see that as a win. Day 13 started off with me visiting the community center to try to see what I could do for the bundles for both the boiler room and the fish tank. I also noticed that it was a very rainy day, so I decided that I would dedicate the day to rain fishing, because a lot of the fish I need are exclusive to rain, or they're exclusive to the fall, which means I'm probably gonna finish the fish tank in the fall. But yeah, I just checked on the community center, realized I was really close to being done with the boiler room, as in like I could get it done in the next couple days close, and I just fished in the rain in various spots in the map for the rest of the day. I got all my rainfish wiped out, and now I only have a couple more fish to go for the fish tank. Day 14 was the day of my first blueberry harvest, which I was pretty pumped about because yay to money. After that, I basically just took a short trip to the mines, and I almost made it to floor 90 before being absolutely bodied by a slime. It's not fun, and Clint ended up having to drag me out, but hey, it's a learning experience. Everybody loses all their health in the mines at some point, and, you know, we learned from it. I also put some gold in overnight just to try to make sure that I could get some more sprinklers in the morning. I awoke in full panic mode in day 15 because I realized that I might not be able to finish the community center due to the quality crops bundle if I didn't get some melons planted immediately, So, after watering slightly less crops than I'm used to, thanks to my new sprinkler aid, I immediately booked it to the town where I bought what I thought would be enough melon seeds to get enough for the 5 golden star melons that I would need for the quality crops bundle. I also was able to pop into Clint's real fast to pick up my upgraded, now steel, axe. I awoke on day 16 feeling pretty happy because I didn't need to water over half of my crops due to all the sprinklers I had. At this point, energy was starting to become more and more abundant, which meant that I could make more and more progress in the mines, which is what I did. I managed to make it all the way to floor 90, finally getting my little revenge on that stupid slime that killed me on floor 89. And after that, I decided to go up to floor 5 and just try to repeat that floor, trying to get an earth crystal, because it was literally the last thing I needed to complete the entire boiler room, which would have been my first room done for the community center. Day 17 might have been raining, but it sure wasn't dreary. That's because, after quickly checking in on my fruit bat cave in the morning, I immediately ran over to Clint's, hoping and praying that I would be able to get an earth crystal and finish up the boiler room for my community center. And, with I don't even know how much luck on my side, I was able to pull a absolute clutch move and get an earth crystal just in time, which meant that I could finish the boiler room in the community center. So, I then decided to run over to the community center and try to just fill out all the other bundles that I could before finally ending the day with this beautiful moment. Day 18 was a very big day for 2 major reasons. First of all, it was my second blueberry harvest, which is good because profit is good. I've said this many times, profit equals good. The second major good milestone that came out of this day was that I finally had enough sprinklers planted down to where it would count as having my field fully done. So, I decided to celebrate in the only way I know how. You remember this guy? Yeah, well, he's one of my friends. And I just so happened to have him friended on Discord, which led to this. Oh, also, by the way, today I finally realized my mistake with the Monster Compendium thing. I know I really should have figured it out sooner, but I don't know. I've just been playing too many RPGs recently where you need the talisman in your inventory. On day 19, I made a funny sign. And then I went fishing for literally the rest of the day. I guess sometimes there is a little bit of beauty in monotony. Day 20 was finally the day it happened. I finally made it to floor 100 of the mines. It's what I would have said if things went my way, but they didn't, like always, and I only made it to floor 98. Oh well, I guess I'm just gonna need to wait a little bit longer to get that almighty star drop on floor 100. But in the meantime, I guess I got other things to do, so it doesn't even really matter. Day 21 was finally my day. This was the time that I would get things right. And I didn't get it right this time either. Yeah, I failed on floor 97 again. And this time, when I got dragged out, this time by Maru, I unfortunately lost a diamond, which really sucked, because that left me with 2 diamonds. Now, I know 2 diamonds is still more than no diamonds, but like, that's a whole diamond we're talking about. Those things are kind of rare. But after that, I admitted defeat, and I kind of just headed home and sulked for a while. Alright, day 22. The day that I finally make it to floor 100. And, well, I actually made it! You really thought I was gonna fake you out again? Nope, I made it this time. Also, bonus fact, I had another blueberry harvest. That was pretty cool. But the main point is, I made it to floor 100. And I got that fun little star drop. And I also got a thumbnail. Let's go. This is the best day in the entire series. This is the most progress I've made in one day in the entire series. This is the most monumental moment I will ever have on YouTube. Alright, that last one might not be true. If you guys want to see a monumental moment, get me like a diamond play button or something. But still, this is huge. I'm happy. It's great. Even though the triumphs of day 22 could not be topped, at least day 23 was pretty interesting. It was a green rain day, which I had never experienced before because I haven't played this game in like a year, and it's part of the new update. So you can imagine my surprise when I walked out and everything is just green now, and there's moss everywhere, and there's fiddlehead ferns everywhere, which are impossible to get normally, pretty much. So yeah, the entire day I basically ran around, looked at the wiki, trying to figure out what to do. And yeah, I literally got nothing done. I just ran to the tavern, looked at the wiki, talked to everybody. Everybody was panicking. Ran home, and yeah, just enjoyed the green. I also got a lot of moss this day. On day 25, I made a quick stop by Robin's for a very, very top secret building project that I won't let you guys know any details about for right now, that I'm going to be doing in the fall, before heading out to the mines. I know I literally just said in the last segment that I wasn't going to the mines again, but this is not for mining, this is for fishing. I was trying to catch some lava eels. I don't know if it's the game has changed since you were able to get lava eels in the mines, the little lava lake thing, but I had no luck after a while, so I just stopped doing it. And yeah, I leveled up in foraging in the night, which was pretty nice, and I ended up getting to the foraging milestone level 5, and this was the first milestone that I actually had any real trouble figuring out which one I wanted and which one I didn't. So I left it up to the thing that pretty much runs my life and decides all of my choices for me. Wheel of Names. How fun. Alright, that's a solid perk. I'll go with it. I collected my final blueberry harvest of the season on day 26 while it was raining. And after that, I was like, hey, I know. I want to get this one specific path that has clay in the recipe. What if I learn how to clay farm? Because it also makes solid money for the stage of the game I'm in. It doesn't make insane money like how it would have made in spring, but it's still something. However, I absolutely suck at pattern memorizing and things. So it took me a really long time to try to figure out what the pattern was, and it just wouldn't seem to work. I don't know why, but it just didn't work. So after exhausting pretty much my entire energy bar, I decided to just call it a day and head home. On day 27, I decided to give clay farming another shot. Unfortunately, it turns out that I learned midway through that it was actually patched in the most recent update, so you can't do it anymore, which really sucks. Also, my melons that I was trying to get for the community center had grown that day, and unfortunately, I didn't get enough. That means that I am still hard stuck on waiting until spring of year 2 for the community center due to the quality crops bundle, and also the spring crops bundle. But other than that, I kind of just went to bed defeated that day. It really sucks that they patched one of the best early money making methods in the game. Day 28 of summer ended the exact same way as day 28 of the spring. And what I mean to say by that is that I ran around aimlessly the entire time. I did sell all of the blueberries that I had been hoarding for the entire season though, and, well, let's just say I made a lot of money from them. But after running around wasting time up until 10 p.m., I believe it was 10 anyway, I decided to attend the Dance of the Moonlight Jellies as a fun little way of setting off the game. And as I watched the jellies float around, I really just took it in and appreciated how much this game is able to just truly craft a wonderful little towny experience. I'm better than Valve Studios. Yes, like the guys that made Portal and stuff. You wanna know why? Because I finally learned how to count to the number 3, baby. That's right, we're back with Stardew Valley. I'm sorry if it's been a really long time since my last upload, at least considering my channel's lifespan anyways. I feel like I have crafted a very good story with a lot of ups, and also, you know, some pretty major downs. The footage for those days just doesn't exist. But in the end, I'm pretty satisfied with how it came out. And I'm also satisfied with the pacing, which I can assure you is much better than the spring and summer episodes, which, like, I'm so sorry about the pacing on those. But yeah, let's get into the video. I woke up on day 1 and I immediately decided that I needed to have some sort of objective or thing to work towards in this series, because my last 2 episodes had kind of just been like, hey, do whatever and see what sticks. And I decided to resolve to do 3 major things this episode. 1 was to work on the community center, which, like, desperately needed help. I only had 1 room completed by the time that this was started, so I needed to work on that. The second was to work on my skills, because I'm being honest, I really didn't want it to be that I completed year 1 with no level 10 skills, so I decided to really just put an emphasis on that. And the third thing was to just, like, work on the more daily check-in type of tasks, so like watching the weather, looking for the Queen of Sauce things so I could get recipes, and also checking the traveling cart when I was in town. That was really important. I didn't do that much, but, you know, I tried. And I also, you know, just immediately tried to plant all my crops because I didn't want any time wasted on not being efficient. Hey, Editing Watts here. It's still day 1. I just thought, for the record, I should mention that I was an idiot and I completed the financial bundle that unlocks the bus stop, and I didn't put that in my notes for the day. I don't know why this is the case, just thought I'd let you know that I did that while I was checking out the community center, and yeah, I can go to the desert now. I decided that with the new spirit of me trying to complete as much of the community center as I could, I would try to use this rainy day at the very start of fall to do everybody's favorite reoccurring task: fishing. If you've seen the spring and summer episodes, you know literally just how much my playthrough is just fishing. It's not even funny. But yeah, so I did that. I got a bunch of rain required fish, which is really, really nice, because it hardly rained during fall. Like, I don't think it rained until like day 14 after this. I'm not even kidding. It was wild. Seeing with how much I absolutely love to waste time in this playthrough, I decided that I should dedicate the entirety of day 3 to going to the desert and using my new bus god privileges. I literally did nothing except walk around. I don't have the Skull Cavern completed. I do have it completed by the end of the month, but I didn't have it completed now, so I just walked around and, you know, really took in the surroundings. On day 4, I completed the fish tank, which means I never need to worry about fishing again, right? God, why do I make myself do these stupid things? Other than that, though, I also planted a bunch of grapes today because of a little board offer that Lewis did. Then this was also my little introduction to making my crops into like wines and jams and stuff using the preserves jar and kegs. If I'm being real with you guys, nothing much interesting really happened the next couple of days. Like, sure, the crop fairy visited some of my grapes, which was cool. And sure, I went from floor 100 to floor 105 in the mines, but honestly, I didn't really get much done, and to avoid the video from being close to 30 minutes long, like the spring and summer episodes, I'm not really going to cover the days here. Just know small progress was made, and I also chopped down a lot of trees on my farm to, just try to make it look nicer. The action didn't really start picking up again up until day 8, where I decided to do some major deforestation on my farm, just to try to beautify the place up a little bit. And I also did a midnight blackberry run because I realized that it was blackberry season, and I wanted to really bump up my foraging EXP because, again, I just want to get all my skills maxed out, honestly. The 9th was not a good day for me. This is due to the fact that I decided today would be the perfect day to upgrade my watering can to a copper watering can. I thought it would boost my efficiency. I thought it would be a good idea. What didn't come across my mind was the fact that I had a bunch of pumpkins on my farm that I needed to water because I really wanted to get a giant pumpkin and I didn't make sprinklers for them. Also, please remember what I said about it not raining at all this season. I think it rained a grand total of only 3 or 4 days, and that was at the very start and at the very end, so yeah. Good luck having those be watered for the next couple days. By the time day 10 rolled around, I decided that I was finally gonna try to max out the mines. And after visiting Willie for a short cutscene due to a community center completed bundle, I got straight into the mines. And I was able to hit floor 110. I know, amazing progress. And then I died of a toxin overdose, which, fun. Day 11 was, in my opinion, some peak gameplay. I was able to push the final 10 levels of the mine, reach the bottom, get that amazing, glorious little skull cavern key, and make it home literally right before bedtime. Swiftly skipping past days 12 and 13, on day 14 I had my very first harvest, which was pretty cool. The grapes and the corn synced up in time, which is nice, and that continued for the rest of the season. I also started my little fishing obsession this day because I wanted to have something nice to put in my booth for the community fair. And also, just level 10 fishing would be really cool, I guess. Hey, Editor Watts here. I once again was an idiot, and I forgot to mention something very important. I got an ancient seed on this day. Finally, yay. Too bad I can't freaking plant it because I don't have a greenhouse. Day 15 was basically just the first harvest of crops, but then again, you kind of already heard that thanks to my wonderfully ordered voiceover that I recorded about 10 minutes ago that mislabeled it as day 14. Here comes the part of the video that's not fun for you or me. So the thing is, with days 16 to 21, the footage for those days just doesn't exist. Yeah, I'm definitely reinstalling OBS after all of this stuff because I think I probably just did a faulty download or something. But it's in the past. There's no way to get that footage back. There's no file saying that it even existed in the first place. I know I pressed record, but it is what it is. However, I'm a person who is very heavily inspired by a certain Australian YouTuber named Dragoon. If you haven't noticed, judging by the fact that I literally made an entire video about Cookie Clicker. And there's a little trademark that Dragoon has that I feel like would suit this situation pretty well. That's right, guys. I'm using MS Paint. So, the big recap you've all been waiting for. Well, it starts off with the Stardew Valley Community Fair. Unfortunately, I don't really have much in the way of evidence as far as winning it, but I remember that I won it, and I remember the score was 92 points, and yay, I got a star drop. The other thing that happened that was really big was that I got my first level 10 skill, which was in farming, which I see as pretty dope. But then again, most of my passive EXP has been from farming, so that really makes sense. A third thing that was very
well focused on was fishing. I had the idea of like the video thumbnail and stuff in mind by this point, and I really wanted to get fishing level 10, so for a majority of these days I'd say I kind of just grinded out fishing for a little while, and that continued even once I got my recordings back. One final little thing of note is that the very first construction on my farm took place during this little non-recording hiatus, and that was me building a silo in preparation for my winter plans, which I won't spoil too much, so you'll have to wait a little bit for that. Cycling back to real content now, I gotta say I was still continuing that aim of getting to level 10 fishing when my recording started again, and that's literally what I did on days 21 through 24. It started raining again, which was pretty nice because that was really the first rain I'd gotten all season, and it gave me a chance to get a solid amount of the rain exclusive fish for fall. I also developed a really precise route home from the beach, and by the time I reached fishing level 10, I'd pretty much become like an almost speedrunner of the game trying to get back, and I feel like it would be pretty fun to just kind of include that footage in for you. On day 25, I decided to re-enter the mines, which I had very much neglected over this season, and I was able to get a lot of stones to construct my second farm building, which is a chicken coop that won't be finished until winter. How fun! I caught the angler first cast on day 26. Please help me, I don't want to touch a fishing rod again, that wasn't fun, I don't like fishing anymore, please send help. Day 27 was literally the longest day ever. This is because I had already accomplished all of my season goals, so I literally just had to find a way to mess around until 10 PM, where I could enter the Spirit's Eve Festival, where I absolutely dominated all of the townsfolk in the maze, and I was able to get the almighty golden pumpkin. On day 28, I did nothing. I honestly just wanted to see what it'd be like to spend a day without spending any energy, so after selling a bunch of my stuff, which yes, I will show you the profit counter, after selling all my stuff, I literally just went to bed, ending off the third episode of Stardew Valley. Everybody who's ever played Stardew Valley knows that winter is definitely the hardest month, but that doesn't mean that I can't make a good video out of it. In today's episode of Stardew Valley, I'm going to be playing through the winter season of year 1 and just trying to wrap things up in general. To kind of keep my sanity, I've made 3 goals for myself. The first one is to make even more progress in my community center so that it is for sure completable in spring of year 2. My second goal is to try to get a maxed coop and a maxed barn. That way I'm able to start working with animals. And step 3 is to just make my farm look nice. That way when it's in the springtime, I'm able to make it look nice and make it ready for use easier than ever. Getting straight into things though, I woke up on day 1 and I immediately realized that my farm had a little bit of work to get done. After I did that though, I realized that the coop I had started building last season had finally been completed, which I was pretty happy about. I then decided to run into town to check out the decorations, but while I was over there, I encountered this shadow dude named Krobus, who I was supposed to follow, but I ended up not following because I'm kind of a monkey like that. And after that, I was running around town a little bit, and I ended up breaking some mystery boxes, which gave me a prismatic shard, which I think is a, pretty good way to start off the season. With my prismatic shard in hand, I immediately ran off to the desert so that I could get a galaxy sword, because everybody with more than 2 brain cells knows that a museum donation is not as valuable as the best sword in the game. To wrap up my day though, I ended up doing some clay farming at the beach because the pathway I wanted to use on my farm needed a lot of clay. And I'm pretty upset that they patched the old method because I probably would have only been clay farming for like 2 or 3 nights, but instead, this was like a regular thing that happened. Day 2 was honestly really uneventful, other than getting the magnifying glass from Krobus finally, and doing a little bit of deforestation on my farm. Nothing really happened. I honestly am probably going to skip days like this in the future, but just thought I'd show you a little bit. On day 3, I finally got animals for my coop, which I'm pretty excited about. In retrospect, I probably could have chosen better names for them, but I think I did pretty good. Now that the animals were out of the way though, I started to think a little bit about getting a barn, but I unfortunately didn't have the resources for that, so I had to push it back to another day. On day 4, I finished the little arts and crafts room in the community center, which just left 2 more to go, and I'm hopefully planning on completing those 2 in the springtime in year 2. And I also started construction on the barn, which led to the forming of my animal empire that I established by the end of the season. So, funnily enough, actually, the next day where anything happened, really, was day 7, where my barn was completed and my chickens gave their first little set of eggs. When I say this is a boring season with nothing going on, I really do mean that it's a boring season with nothing going on. Day 8 was the day of the ice fishing festival, which was pretty fun because A, I got to be social with the villagers for like the 3rd time that year, and also I was able to win the ice fishing contest, which was pretty cool. On day 10, I woke up in my freshly upgraded house, and I immediately realized that I had like 0 ingredients on me, so the new kitchen was more or less useless. After that though, I went out to Marnie's and I got some new cows, which were also amazingly named. I then ran over to Robin's and got my first coop upgrade, which was pretty cool because it expanded the size of my coop a lot, and it also just, helps get me towards my goal of getting a maxed out coop. To end off the day, I unfortunately had to sell my emergency cash stores because I was running really low on money from all of the upgrades that I'd been doing, and I unfortunately had to part with my massive chest full of random crops that I'd been saving, which only made a very slight profit. Day 11 was the day that I actually got all the animals and actually did the barn upgrade, and overall, I'm pretty satisfied with my choices, especially the animal names, which were And then after I'd done all of that, I just decided to mine out the entire quarry just for funsies, and so I could actually get some stone as a resource for future building projects. Day 12 was day 1 of the squid fishing contest, which I participated in. Unfortunately, I got no squid, which I don't know how that's possible. I think I got a grand total of 2. I'm honestly so shocked that I got so few, especially because they were out in the water the entire day. Day 13 was my makeup day for the day 12 disaster, and I gotta say, it was a pretty good makeup day. I was able to get all the way to the squid goal of 10 squid, and not gonna lie, the rewards were actually pretty good. Unfortunately though, this festival wasted 2 whole days for some stuff, so It wasn't the greatest time, I'd say, but it wasn't horrible. It's just that I wish it had been something other than fishing, which I already have a whole ton of time in the series on. The next interesting thing that happened was the night market on day 15. Unfortunately, I wasn't recording for the entirety of day 15 and a little bit of day 16, so I'm not entirely sure what happened, but I do remember buying a couple random things, getting the free coffee, of course, and also viewing the mermaid show, which I didn't remember the puzzle and I was honestly too lazy to look it up. So I'll just do that another time. Day 16 was another night market day, and this time I actually remembered to record it. Pretty much the exact same things happened as the night before, except instead of viewing the mermaid show, I ended up doing the fishing and submarine, just so that I could get all the fish that were in there to complete my fish collection, at least for that part of the game. Skipping over to day 18, my deluxe coop was finally finished upgrading, which meant that I had sorta ticked off one of my little goals from the beginning. I unfortunately didn't get the animals until the next day though, for some reason. I got the rest of my coop dwelling animals on day 19, and I figured I'm just still gonna show you the animals because I believe that my sense of humor is truly elite and that it cannot be topped by anything. To summarize the next couple days really quickly, I basically was just fishing the entire time because I was once again pretty broke from doing house upgrades, barn and coop upgrades, tool upgrades. I got all my tools to gold this season actually, but I'm not going to just show every single one of them. But I was in really desperate need of money, so I was fishing for like 3 days straight. And I know for a fact that after seeing me do all that in all 3 of my videos actually, you probably don't want to see that, so just gonna skip. Moving on to day 22, I decided to set up my little new sprinkler system so that I could grow my crops well in the next season. The way that I did this was using a little Stardew Valley planning website thing, which I will link in the description because it was super useful. And I was able to see what the scarecrow range was and where I needed to place my sprinklers. After a few attempts of me proving that I can count, which, hey, wait, you look like you can count. If you can count, then you can see that my subscriber count is kinda low, and you can change that. If you press the subscribe button and like the video so that it gets pushed to more people, then it would greatly help with boosting my channel and letting other people see the content I make. Also, comment down whatever you want to see from this channel, because ultimately I'm making stuff for you and I want you to enjoy yourself. Moving back to the video though, I would count this as completing my finish up the farm goal that I said at the beginning of the video, because not only was I ready for planting the next season, but I had also cleared out almost all of the big trees and other greenery in the times that I skipped and the days that I skipped and things. I was mostly working on getting some clay to make the pathways and also working on getting all the trees and stuff cleared out, so one of the 3 goals is out of the way. Day 24 was my community center day. All of the stuff that I'd been stockpiling throughout the season was finally getting put into its proper bundles, and I made a lot of progress. At this rate, I'm almost certain that I can get the community center done in the spring of year 2, which I'm pretty happy about. I wasn't able to complete all of the bundles in a specific room or thing, but I was able to make a lot of progress, and I was actually able to complete a couple. Day 25 was the Festival of the Winter Star, where my secret gift giver, Penny, got a emerald, which I had done some research on. It was one of her very liked gifts, and so now I have like 2 or 3 hearts with Penny, just randomly, even though I never interact with her. And in return, I got a very nice dish from Pam. I will admit, I was really hoping to get something better on the loot table, but eh. On day 27, my barn finally finished upgrading, which meant that I had completed my last goal, which was to get a maxed out barn and a maxed out coop. This meant that I finished all of my goals, and I was pretty happy about that because that meant I had a pretty productive season. And also, I was able to finish a little community board quest for Gus to make a giant omelet, which was convenient because I had a lot of eggs. Because of this, I got to see a super cool cutscene of the villagers enjoying my omelet. Nothing interesting happened on day 28, other than me prepping for the next season and doing other end of day activities for other seasons that I've done, but I'm not going to bore you with that, so instead I've chosen to wrap up the video here. I had a pretty productive winter season, I think, especially considering the fact that this is often considered the worst and most boring season. I still enjoyed myself. I hope you enjoyed this video too, and once again, I would love if you just liked, subscribed, and commented down below what you want to see more of. I'm probably going to be taking a little bit of a break from Stardew Valley just so I can tie up loose ends on other projects as well, but don't think this series is going anywhere. Just wait maybe 2 or 3 months, if I had to guess. With all that said though, see you later, and Watts out.